You're listening to the Lo-Fi Music Academy podcast, your go-to space for all things lo-fi. Sit back, relax, and let's dive into the world of lo-fi music production.
Hi, and welcome to the Lo-Fi Music Academy podcast. I'm Spencer J, your guide through the chilled-out, atmospheric world of lo-fi beats. Today we're diving into a topic that's often overlooked, but absolutely essential to making great lo-fi tracks, and that's balancing musical ideas and the space within your track. Now, when we talk about lo-fi, it's tempting to throw in as many ideas as possible: chords, melodies, counter melodies, percussion layers, ear candy, the whole works. But the truth is, lo-fi thrives on restraint. The best tracks know how to strike that balance between having enough interesting ideas and leaving space for the listener to breathe. So in this episode, we'll look at a few things: why space is just as important as the notes you play, how to recognise when your track has too many competing ideas, techniques to create balance between sound and silence, and also real-world strategies that you can start using today. And by the end, you'll have a clear framework to make your productions more intentional, immersive, and ultimately more lo-fi. So grab your favourite drink and let's dive in. Let's start with the big picture. Lo-fi music's all about vibe. It's mood-driven, emotional, and often designed for relaxation, study, or background listening. That means the listener isn't looking for an overcomplicated arrangement with constant changes. They want consistency, warmth, and something that feels like it flows naturally. Think of your track like a room. If you fill the room with too much furniture, it kind of feels cluttered. But if you have just the right amount of carefully chosen pieces, the space feels intentional and inviting. Music works the same way. Sometimes what you don't include is more important than what you do. So how do you know when your track has too many ideas? Here are a few signs. Firstly, you've got multiple melodies all fighting for attention in the same space. Next, listen to your drums, bass and chords. They all live in the same frequency space, and is it creating muddiness? And lastly, you'll notice that after listening for a few minutes, your ears might start to feel tired or you just feel overwhelmed. When that happens, it's time to ask yourself, what's the main focus of this section? Is it the chords, the melody, the rhythm, or maybe a texture? Once you know that focus, everything else should support it, not compete with it. So let's talk about techniques for a moment. Here are some practical ways to balance your musical ideas and space. Firstly, less is more with melody. Instead of stacking multiple melodic lines, choose one strong, simple motif. Lo-fi melodies work best when they're memorable, but not overly complex. Next, use call and response. If you want variation, let one instrument play a short phrase, and then leave a gap for another sound, or even silence to answer back. This creates space and keeps the track kind of conversational. Next, EQ and panning. Use EQ to carve out room for each instrument. For example, if your chords are rich in the mid-range, cut some space there in your pads or textures. Panning elements slightly left and right also prevents overcrowding in the centre. And you can also try dropouts and pauses. Don't underestimate silence. A quick dropout of drums or muting a melody for one bar creates like anticipation and lets the listener reset. And lastly, think in layers. Ask yourself, do I need all these layers? Sometimes removing just one extra pad or percussion loop can instantly make the mix feel cleaner and more alive. So let's imagine you're building a lo-fi beat. You've got a warm Rhodes chord progression, a mellow bass line, and some dusty drums, and maybe a simple guitar lick. It sounds solid, right? But when you start adding shakers, multiple textures, an extra synth melody, and some vocal chops, suddenly it's way too much, and the listener just doesn't know where to focus. So here's the fix. Strip it back to just the essentials. Maybe the guitar lick only plays in the chorus, not throughout the entire track, and maybe the vocal chop is sprinkled in sparingly as an ear candy effect rather than playing non-stop. By giving each element its moment to shine, you make the track more engaging and more soothing for the listener, and ultimately more interesting. And here's a little exercise that you can try today. Take one of your current tracks and mute half the layers. No, seriously, just mute them and take them off. Now listen, does the track still hold up? Chances are it feels cleaner and the main ideas are more focused and pop more. Now gradually reintroduce the muted elements one at a time and ask yourself, does this serve the track or is it just filling up space that's not required? If it doesn't serve the vibe, then just keep it muted. This kind of self-editing is what separates an okay track from a polished professional lo-fi beat. At the end of the day, balancing musical ideas and space is all about being intentional. Every sound you include should have a purpose. By creating room for your music to breathe in, you allow your listener to sink deeper into the vibe, and that's what lo-fi is all about. So remember, less is more, silence is powerful, and your best ideas shine brightest when they're not buried under lots of clutter. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing, leaving a review, or sharing it with fellow music producers who might find it useful. Until next time, keep creating, stay inspired, and remember, it's all about the vibe. Take care and see you in the next episode.
Thanks for tuning in to the Lo-Fi Music Academy podcast. If you're ready to start making lo-fi music and want to go even deeper, grab your free guide. Discover the 6 essential steps to create a release-ready lo-fi track from scratch. Whether you're using budget gear in your bedroom or a small home studio, this guide will help you get that polished, dreamy lo-fi sound you're after. Just go to www.lofimusicacademy.com. Until next time, keep creating those laid-back vibes, and don't forget to subscribe for more lo-fi tips and tricks.